Hey everybody, it's Friday already. I cannot believe how fast every week it just summer zooms by for me.
Every single week, yeah.
Got Jacob Brower in the house. Let me get that. I'm running the show here. It's my show. This is the Johnny Rooster Morning Mouth. This is a program for people in the 417 area, particularly Springfield, Missouri, to find out more all about entrepreneurs, business owners, and things of that nature. We also get into nonprofits and performing artists. So we do 3 categories. You happen to be an entrepreneur category.
Yes, correct.
So you have 90% of my show is about the entrepreneur.
Good.
So you're 90% correct.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
You don't want to be in the 10% minority today. Jacob, I'm glad to have you here. On the bottom of the screen, I put up Jacob Brower, Archer's Bow Media and Marketing. You can sit a little closer to the mic or just bring it up there just a little bit. I think we're good to go. Our show is from 9 to 9:40, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today is Friday, and we normally, next week, we're going to give away 2 pies from Village Inn. We have some people that come on board, and what they do is they show their sponsorship. Village Inn gives away pies.
Nice. Yeah,
that's what they're known for.
I haven't had that in a while. You got me hungry now.
It's a big thing. Yeah. So, yeah, just a little. Let me put that right there. Was good when you leaned in. That was good. All right. So, Mike coming to you. All right, Jacob, what do you do? Archer's Bow Media and Marketing. A lot of people do media and marketing, don't they?
Sure. Well, the short answer is I create great ads and I get them seen a lot by the people you want seeing them. That's my elevator speech. To kind of elaborate on that a little bit, what I work with is top of mind awareness. So whenever you go to ESPN, whenever you go to Better Homes and Gardens, GQ, Farm and Home, whatever it is you go to, and you see the ads on the top and in the article for Toyota, Nissan, Starbucks, whatever, I do those kind of ads. And but I do it locally. I target locally, and I can do it as broadly or as narrowly as a client needs it to be.
If there's a national ad, then you add a local slant, or is that something totally different?
I don't have any national accounts. It's totally
so it's totally local produced.
Right. So if if say we want to target people in 65807, men age 35 to 44 or whatever,
really specific.
certain income levels, you can do that. And then I really don't care what websites they go to because we're going to come to them. Basically, and that's my average client. I cater to small businesses. My average client spends less than $500 a month, and their ads are seen 350,000 times. So that's a really good bang for your buck going on there. And plus, I mean, and I the numbers are impressive, but kind of what I take pride in is I've been in mass media for 21 years. And I got my start on the news side. So I don't come from this from a sales perspective. I come to it from a journalism perspective.
Okay.
So I talk to a business owner. I'm going to sit there and ask a lot of questions until they're tired of being asked questions, basically, and just find out, okay, what is it about your business that's special? What makes you stand out? You have a yoga studio over here. There's a yoga studio over here. Our target mother of 2 who's 32 years old, lives halfway in between. How do we get her to turn left instead of right? And then just basically figure out what makes that business tick, figure out what and the best way to present that business artistically, words wise, etc.
Right here on this broadcast, AMG Broadcasting is part of Axe Media Group. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, but we're looking to put in a new specific way to reach people in a very specific way. So that would be helpful, knowing that our market is largely in Springfield. There's also in Branson, and then it's scattered all over the world after that. How do you handle a company that maybe have their target audience in different geographical locations?
You just target at different geographical locations.
Because we don't always know, I guess, sometimes what's out there, but you're trying to find your way. What's a good way to get started knowing who your audience is? That's a big thing for me as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that is a big thing.
Other people are asking too.
Right. you just, I mean, that's just one of those things you figure out through just talking about it, just discussing it, figuring out, okay, who, what clients am I doing well with now? Do I want to build on that? Is there a different kind of clientele I want to bring in? Uh, who am I? What is my job is not to tell people how to run their businesses.
Yeah.
My job is to figure out what's special about that business and build on that.
So you're finding what's special about a business. So what would be special about a business that has different clients in different areas, but they want to focus mainly on their geographical area close by, but they also want to recognize another group? Is that too hard to manage?
No, not at all. And it's one of those things that gets easier with experience. I've gotten to the point where just through trial and error, I can target clients as broadly or as narrowly as I need to. I have one client who's throughout the entire state of Missouri, but specifically for like one niche audience, but it's through the entire state of Missouri. And I have another client that's just men from age 18 to, I want to say 44 in one zip code in Springfield.
Wow.
And I have some that are entire towns that are not really filtered by any age or gender or anything like that.
How are these specifics known? Is it an algorithm? Is that how you're finding this?
Yes. Yeah, it's an algorithm. And what I do is as soon as we figure out our target audience, I generate a report every month, 8 a.m., first of the month. Email goes out, says, okay, here's how the ads are performing with this group, with that group, this age group, this gender, this day of the week, this geographic area, just really in-depth information.
You're finding that for your client.
Yes.
You're discovering it based on your series of questions that you ask them.
Yes.
So,
and based on, and then at the end of the month, once the report's out, I'll talk to the client as often or as unoften as they want me to.
Frequency is whatever they want it to be.
Yeah. For the ones I do talk to.
I like the word unoften though.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I would like to take credit for that, but I don't think I invented it.
Yeah. If you originated that one, great. I don't hear unoften that often.
I think somebody else came up with it.
You like how I said that often? Yeah. Somebody probably did, but you're saying the frequency is up to the client.
The frequency at which how often we meet is up to the client. I do like to talk to the client at least once a week, be it by email or text or whatever. I'll take one client, for example. We had, it's an e-commerce client. And what we found out by analyzing the data was we were doing well every day of the week, except for Wednesday and Thursday. So we just cut out Wednesday and Thursday. And so we rotate our ads Friday through Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that was based on, how did you discover that's the frequency that was
just
good?
Performance, just the way it was performing up to that point. And it's, we're doing well on these 5 days, not well on these 2 days. Why are we, let's stop wasting money on
So
these
you're
2
watching the analytics and finding out quickly.
Yeah.
Does it take a while to set a pattern when something's new?
I wouldn't say a while. I mean, you have different things. I mean, you have to keep an eye on trends, kind of what's happening. I wouldn't say a while. You can generally get a pretty good idea after a month, if not a week, kind of how an ad is performing. And then after that, you have to just kind of watch ebbs and flows here and there. And just really the hardest part of getting a good ad campaign started is getting it started. And then after that, it's just tweaks. And that's the great thing about internet as opposed to print, as opposed to billboards, as opposed to, not talking bad about any other format. But the great thing about it is, we can say, all right, I want to target all of Springfield today or this month. And then next month we can say, all right, well, we're doing good in 65806. Let's target just that area this month.
So kind of a 30-day run to see how things look.
And then after that, we can say, hey, let's go back to all of Springfield and 30 miles around it.
Okay.
So you can
adjust.
Like basically once you get a good ad campaign running, it's just tweaks from there.
Well, we're going to pop in a quick ad from us, our sponsor, and our Axe Fest. We'll be right back.
People that have mental illness are not weak. They're the strongest people I know because we've had to endure so much.
That's true. NAMI of Southwest Missouri is one of our sponsors. They take care of people with mental health issues, and it is not a clinical thing. It is a peer-based program where they can reach out to you. Another sponsor is, I don't know if you've heard of them, Queen City Insane Asylum semi-pro football team right here in Springfield. They are an up-and-coming football team. These guys are going at it. So the owner is from H2O Zone, which is a subscription-based program to help get your water, purify it, make it healthy for you. But they also have the football team, Queen City Insane Asylum. So they're out there doing drills. And I don't know a lot about minor league, what I'd say minor league football, but it's right here in Springfield.
Interesting.
It is interesting. And I want to know if you guys want to know more about that, check out Queen City Insane Asylum. Makes me think of Insane Clown Posse or something crazy. Their color is kind of between purple and pink. It's really wild. It's just like, wow, you know?
Huh.
So there's our Springfield football team.
Do you know what league they're in?
No, I don't. So I need to know more about that. But if you just Google Queen City Insane Asylum, you'll find it. It's there. Also want to acknowledge Village Inn for giving away 2 pies a month. You could be a winner by watching and listening. Another giveaway this week is from Queen City Insane Asylum. $100 is being given away to one of our amazing listeners, viewers. They're listener viewers, audience members. So we're going to be doing that. So stay tuned. If you're faithful watching, listening, participating, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Daily Motion. So be on your different platforms and watch, follow, like, share, do all of the above. This is AMG Broadcasting. I am Johnny Rooster, your host. This is Morning Mouth. We're talking to Jacob Brower of Archer's Bow Media and Marketing. Jacob, you seem a little more relaxed and reserved than a lot of people. You're not a real flashy, not a car salesman type of guy. How do you promote and find business as a low-key guy?
Yeah, a lot of that is just personal contacts, referrals. I also do, obviously, I do some advertising. So, and I'm working on doing some different funnels as well. I have a referral program going on right now for if anybody out there listening wants to make a few extra bucks. If you know of anybody you want to refer, if it leads to a meeting, what I'll do is I'll have a 5-minute qualifying phone call. If it leads to a meeting, I'll give you $40. If it leads to a client, I'll give you $100. And we can, of course, depending on how much of a funnel that will be, we can negotiate that. So
I was going to ask you, how do you find time to add new clients and how do you manage them? Because you say you've got a lot of contact.
Mm-hmm.
So how, as you're adding clients, how is their time allowed for that?
Well,
are you a one-man show?
Basically, I am a one-man show. The thing that's helped me a lot this year, this is year 3.
Okay.
The thing that's helped me so much this year is just automating things that I don't have to do them personally. Like the monthly reporting, I have that on an automated system now. Most of my clients now are on automatic withdraw. I like it because I don't have to mess with invoicing. They like it because it's one less piece of paperwork they have to deal with. So I'm just automating, and that's really freed up. That's freed up all of my time to take care of my current clients and to go after new clients.
So you're spending about the same amount of time, but automation is helping you without having to get more and more involved with your time.
Automation's probably saving me a good 10, 15 hours a week or a month.
Briefly explain what the automation is doing. You said it, but just say, like in layman's terms, what are they doing with automation?
Sure. So the reports that go out every month, I used to do those by hand that showed who's seeing the ad, who's clicking the ad,
right.
demographics, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I would do those by hand. Now I have an automated service that does that. So that's sent out to the client by email at 8 a.m. on the first of the month. I don't have to touch it. And if there's anything out of the ordinary, I'll reply and kind of elaborate on the report, but get the report out. Invoicing, like I said, most of my clients are on automatic withdraw. I have a few that are still on invoicing, but for most of them have switched to automatic withdraw. So that frees up a lot of time to just focus on the client.
Sure. Well, my good buddy Charles Chastain, he's got his own real estate company called Real Estate Riders with Keller Williams. He uses a lot of automation. He's going through a lot of different funnels of where people are in the process and investing quite heavily every month. It's paying off. He's got a large operation, but it's daunting for the new people. They're like, I don't have $3,000 a month to be doing that. That's a lot of money. I know another guy that does that out of Houston, Texas, but he lives right here. He's got he can specify everything you're talking about, every demographic, and it is paying off, and they're making the bucks. But for people like me, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money to fork over. How do you know and how do you get this thing started on a budget?
Judgment call. And I was kind of the same way leading up to this. I had a hard time justifying paying an automated service to do a report that I could do myself. It's just whenever I sit down and put pen to paper and, it's okay, it takes 10 minutes to do a report. Well, no big deal. Take that, multiply it by X number of clients, multiply it by every single month.
Wow.
And then eventually it's like, I kind of probably the best advice I have received, and I'm kind of embarrassed it took so long to follow it, is to do the things that you're good at, that you enjoy, and write a check for the rest of it.
Okay, so then you're staying right with what you like, what you enjoy, what you're good at, and then the rest of that stuff that you're not so keen on, you're willing to bite the bullet and pay for it because you know in the long run it'll pay you.
Yes. Get rid of all the minutia you can get.
And I know that people that are on high level performance, they have that down. And that is true. And the people that are down at the beginning, they just can't fathom that because it's so big for them. How do you mentally get ready for, hey, this is what I'm going to do? I'm in. Are there some mental?
Just got to jump in.
Yeah.
It's like a pool.
Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. It takes rip that Band-Aid off and go, Yeah. And you've done this. This is your third year.
Third year. Yes.
So I'm saying you're still in the new phase, but what have you learned in these 3 years that you didn't know 3 years ago?
Well, it's actually, I've been in mass media for 21 years. Kind of some of my background is before I started my business, I ran the media group, the newspapers in Monette and Cassville for 5 years. And that's kind of where my digital advertising expertise popped in. I kind of had to do it out of necessity to, increase our revenue. And so I just made myself a digital marketing expert at that time. And then 2018, the time was right to strike out and form my own business. So here we are. I would say probably the biggest, I wouldn't say there's many surprises. I think I got spoiled by having a staff before. So now it's kind of going back to doing the things you don't want to do, whereas you used to be able to delegate before. It's, I'm sales, for example. I'm not a salesman by nature. And it used to be I had a sales staff, and now the sales staff is me. So,
well, being going to a solopreneur, one person right there, was that a big adjustment for you? You've got a wife and you got a child, you got a family to support.
I wouldn't say so. It really, I would say it was kind of a lot of signs led to the time was right to do it. And it's one of the good things about dealing with small businesses. If you get your client roster, built to a certain point, you have some pretty good guaranteed income there. And even if some clients drop off here and there, you're just talking a small percentage of your income. And, you can, if you're working it the way you're working it, you can make it up. So.
Well, tell us a little more about your background.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Anderson. Not many people in Springfield know where that is.
I'm the guy that knew, but that's because I'm just all about McDonald County. Yeah. No, not really. I'm just kidding. I think it is unusual. That's a corner.
Yeah.
Way down.
Yep. From McDonald County. It was a class of 98. Went to Missouri Southern in Joplin. Graduated with a degree in communication in 2004. And then I came in the newspaper business. I was the editor-in-chief of a newspaper in the Little Rock area from 2010 to 2013. 2013, I got an opportunity to come closer to my home in Monette. Was happy to have that opportunity, ran that news organization, accomplished some great things there. We got actually got a write-up in Editor and Publisher magazine out of California about the turnaround that we were able to do in, tiny Monette, Missouri. So that was a pretty neat deal. and then here we are. Started Archer's Bow Media. It was named after. Actually, I have a godson. His name is Archer, and
Okay.
when I was thinking of, he's 3 years old now. He was a year or less than a year when I started the business. And I was thinking when I was coming up with names, I was thinking of, well, targeted advertising, so I'm going through this list of my names like, wait a minute, Archer. And so anyway, that's kind of how Archer's Bow was formed. And yeah, so, and actually AB, my logo, that's also my daughter's initials. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
How old is your daughter?
She just turned 1.
Well, that's a big thing. The first birthday.
Yes.
Do you let them play with the cake? Is that how that goes?
Yes, she did.
The birthday cake.
She put her mouth down into her face in her smash cake. So
face plant.
Yeah.
That's always a fun video and a picture, and I love it. I've got 4 boys, and 2 of them are grown and 2 of them still dependent. So we put the 2 categories together. One in high school, one in middle school, one in the Navy, one on his own. It's just a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch kids grow, be part of a family. You grew up in Monette or Anderson.
Yes.
Then you came over to Springfield. How long ago was it?
Well, I was in Springfield a lot when I was in Monette. So
Okay.
That was 2013 to 2018, and then very long story, but anyway, I decided to start my business in Monette. Moved to Monette in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
My office right now, it's right downtown. It's across from, you look out the window of my office, you see the roof of Ernie Biggs.
Okay. So a difference from Monette for sure.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up going, I went to Evangel, graduated with a journalism degree in 1988, and got into newspapers. So I have a similar feel, but mine was pre-internet. So the newspaper industry back then, I was doing everything. Of course, we had the computers, but then we'd print them off, and things would have to go on a physical space for you to put the layout on, wax paper to stick the pages down onto grid paper so you could take it to the press to print. So that was quite a different generation of what we did, but we had to print it out, cut it with scissors, and put it on the page.
The very first newspaper I put out, we did that. The first
wax paper to stick it down.
The first and last. Yeah,
really?
I came in right on the very, very tail end of that.
Yeah.
And then it was my second newspaper I put out was digital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a transformation.
And it's kind of I'm part of the generation there's never been before and never will be again, that we grew up without the internet, and we've had it our entire adult lives.
Right, yes.
And it's really kind of, I tell people, the internet's been a big deal for 25 years, and I've been in mass media for 21 of those years. So I've been able to have a front row seat to kind of how that's evolved over time.
I think for my generation, it's so close to, I was 33 when I first logged online. So no internet, nothing. Everything done on T-squares and everything was hands-on. I put together a yearbook for the college, and it was all done with rub-off lettering for the headlines, stuff like that. You'd take these sheets of paper with letters, different fonts on the letters, it's kind of like a the carbon paper, but what is that where you see through it? Okay, and then you it's just rub off letters, and you pry it away, and there's the letter on the physical page. Send it off to a press in a big box. So all of that, and as soon as I graduated, everything on the radio station I worked at, I was spinning records. Everything went digital pretty much right after I left. So all of the relevance was gone. I learned all of the old technology and had to learn on the job. Anything evolving in technology was just kind of, everybody was learning. Right. It was awkward, to say the least.
Right.
I got out of newspapers in 2000. That's when the newspapers in Missouri were sold. A mass takeover by CPI down in Bentonville, Arkansas, and they bought all the papers. And with that change, I went on to sales and other things, but that was quite a big change in the industry. And I was part of the previous, where people in Ozark, I was the editor of the Ozark paper. I'd get around, talk to everybody personally. I was the only guy in the news department other than the sports guy. It was really fun. We just got to know all the city council and the school board and all the leaders in town and people in the state level that worked in the community. It's a good way to introduce yourself to the community, but all of that technology change just it seems like social media just took over, and the way people receive information is so different now. When you're talking about media and marketing, from my generation, that was a totally different picture.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm still trying to run ahead and say, yes, I understand there's lots of changes. And Jacob, you're in a good position because you've had this internet for quite a while, and yet you understand how you started.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can talk to older clients and help them overcome some of that anxiety or that uncertainty.
Sure, and that's a big thing with, and I'm glad you mentioned that, and it wasn't even something I planned on talking about, but being able to kind of bridge the gap between the generations, between the younger business owner and the older business owner. And it's one thing about the older business owners, and that's kind of the they put me on the bubble between Millennium and Gen X.
Yeah,
like
you're kind of
they don't know what I am.
riding that bridge.
I think the new name is Xennial.
Yeah, see, I'm the baby boomer meets Gen X, so I'm the Boom X.
Yeah.
I'm 1965, so I don't know. I mean, I'm looking both directions, saying I know this one, I know that one, but I don't know a lot about technology. I just watch it and try to duplicate it when I see it. That's how I'm doing.
What I have in common with the Gen X Boomer, I guess, side of the equation is that I don't like a lot of fluff. I don't like a lot of nonsense. A lot of tech people will, kind of try to baffle you and, get in all this technical mumbo jumbo. And I make it as simple as possible.
Good.
I stick with, and basically I keep things simple. I do display advertising. That's pretty much all I do. If somebody wants something else, I can find somebody who can do it. But it's, display advertising. It's what has always worked. It still works. It's going to work 10 years from now. And it's, kind of, you see the different trends, come and go. I'm not going to chase the latest fads. I'm going to stick with what's solid, what's worked. And what I deal in is top of mind awareness. And that's one of the things that's, it's not probably the sexiest thing in marketing right now, but to me, it's what's real. Is that we kind of live in a society now that it's, if you don't feel good, pop a pill.
Quick fix.
And I'm over here, the problem is, number one, the pill sometimes doesn't work. And number two, what do you do when the pill wears off? I'm the one over here saying you need to diet and exercise.
So you're saying top of mind.
Yes.
Marketing.
Right.
And describe what that is like.
That is, okay, so whenever you see a name or you hear a name or you see a brand so many times, it kind of forms a place in your head.
See some golden arches.
Right.
You know what that is.
Right. Everybody, whether they realize it or not, has a list in their head. So whenever the time comes, the
reference,
I need a lawyer, I'm hungry, I need a soft drink, boom, it's, I'm thirsty, I want something sweet, boom, I'm going to get a Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I want a beer, I'm going to get a Budweiser.
Just branding in your head.
Right.
Okay.
And one good experiment is, and I encourage people to go home, go to your pantries, look through there and look at the brands that you're loyal to. 80% of
Extremely important.
very.
So labeling on a jar, labeling on a can, labeling on a anything.
I actually did one of the first blog posts I did. You can find it on my website, archersbowmedia.com, and then /blog. But the very first one that I did was an article on Coke versus Pepsi. And it's actually pretty fascinating when you read into it. For years and years and years, Pepsi has beaten Coke in blind taste tests.
Oh, yeah. I remember the Pepsi challenge.
Oh, yeah. It's like something like 70, 80% of the time they win the blind taste test. But Coke destroys them in sales year after year after year. In fact, until as recently as a couple of years ago, you know what the number 2 pop was? Diet Coke.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how well they are marketed.
That's how well they're marketed. That's how well they're
So
branded.
I would say the taste of Diet Coke would not be a good, but would it compare? Does it matter? They're number 2. Okay. So the popularity of the taste.
I think Pepsi's jumped up to 2 in the last couple of years. I'm not.
The taste isn't the key. It's the marketing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, and it's a combination of the both.
Of course, they taste similar. They're not vastly different.
No, I disagree, but
you think they're vastly different? It'd be like drinking water versus drinking Coke. I mean, I'd think
no.
Coke and Pepsi are both fizzy dark drinks.
Yeah.
So is Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, Pepsi's quite a bit sweeter though.
Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't drank pop in years.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm not a big
not good for
connoisseur of
me.
that,
Not
but
good
yeah.
for me anymore. But yeah, but I would say branding along with, I mean, and it has to be, to an extent at least, it has to be a quality product.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things, I think part of the reason I have a lot of success in this industry is, I'm sure if you've heard the trial lawyers who say, well, I've never lost a case. Well, it's because they only take cases they know they're going to win.
There you go.
And that's kind of
That's a good point.
that's kind of the um, uh, theory, if you will, that I take with getting advertising clients is I want a client who already has a good business, already has a good product. They just need more recognition. They need to get out there.
We're talking to Jacob Brower of Archer's Bow Media and Marketing. Please look that up. We'll be back right after. I do the advertising here in a very simple program. It's not a budget thing, but it's something that we're trying to do. We're trying to reach out to different types of people, and you're helping me out understand this. Jacob is with Archer's Bow Media and Marketing. Jacob, thanks for being on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
This is a program designed for conversations with entrepreneurs, with people that know a certain aspect of their own business and that have started that successfully. And to me, a third year in is not long term, but you've learned a lot.
Yes.
And I need a lot of learning curve to know, as a person that has access to a media such as Axe Media, I don't know how to get the next step of, okay, these are nice little delightful interruptions to the show, but are they effective, and how can we measure that? So there's a way to track that. Our CEO is talking about that, of how they're tracking how many views and where they're coming from. But getting more specific involves something else, doesn't it? There's a layer of technology required to follow that closely for the algorithms. Is that right? Or
Yes.
are all these see, because like YouTube, their platform has an analytics, and they already follow this stuff. But how do I access it and make use of it? For example, it's confusing to me how these are tracked
There
and
are a
how
lot
I
of
can use that.
there are a lot of different excuse me, there are a lot of different I guess ways of doing it. I would probably Google Analytics is what most people use, but I would need much more information to be able
to find
Yeah.
how you would help a company advertise properly. Is that a good way to ask? Just in general.
No, to track the advertising that you're doing currently.
Okay,
That,
so
yeah, that would be, I would need much more information to be able to answer
so
that.
if you're doing advertising, or if you're considering doing advertising because you're new enough in it that you don't know what's the best way. You saying display ads are, it's like term life. It just works.
Mhm.
It's there.
Yep.
Explain to me and the audience, what is display advertising, and how is it what else is out there that is not display advertising?
Sure. Well, display advertising is whenever
I'm learning a lot. So
Sure. Whenever you go onto a website such as, you get Better Homes and Gardens, GQ, ESPN. I'm a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, so Arrowhead Pride, that's a blog that I follow there. They're not a client of mine, but I just gave them some free
Why not?
airspace there. I know, right?
Jump in. That's what we do a lot around here.
But anyway, so you go to those websites, and a lot of people think, if they go to ESPN.com and they see, Nissan at the top of the page, they're like, oh, well, ESPN has this big deal with Nissan. Well, no, they don't. They have blank ad space at the top of their page, and Nissan said, I'm going to bid X amount for Johnny Rooster to see my ad on that website. And if I have a client locally and I say, you're in the same demographic, and I say, okay, well, I'm willing to pay X plus 10 cents for Johnny Rooster to see my ad, then I'm going to win that auction. There is a 24/7 online auction going on all day, every day. in the advertising world. And basically, it's most of the ads you see out there. It's just blank space, and it's just a matter of who can get their bid out there, who can get that ad seen by the people they want seeing it. And that's the great thing about doing this locally, because most of that kind of advertising is national. The
Yes.
great thing about doing that locally is it has more value to me. Therefore, we can get a much better bang for your buck than a lot of people.
Okay, so
And plus, it's kind of a, I'm not going to lie to you.
go ahead.
I'm not going to lie to you. Getting display campaigns going is a pain, and so I'm pretty much one of the only people in the area who want to deal with it. So that's
and why is it
that's
such
another.
What is some of the hurdles about that?
The design element, having the creative side, coming to the day of putting a brand name and a logo and a click here button and a picture, and having that be effective. Those days are over, assuming they were ever here to begin with. You have about 0.8 seconds to catch someone's attention whenever they see your ad online. So a lot of that is artistically, what kind of photo is going to grab their attention. A lot of that is taglines, slogans. What's a short phrase that's going to sum up your business, that's going to catch their attention, so that they're still there after that 0.08 seconds is over, that they're there long enough for that logo to make its way into their brain, and then hopefully they click on it.
Thinking about that, so would this be what are some platforms? You're saying there's websites, but you're going to go to them. I remember you said that earlier.
Yeah.
You don't care what websites they go to.
No.
You're going to them. How are you going to them?
Well, I don't care. Asterisk, there are certain websites that have sensitive content, language, things like that.
Okay.
I keep it to, family friendly.
Right. Okay. Family friendly, but it doesn't matter really what type of website they're on.
No.
Okay.
No.
And you're going to appear on that. How?
Yes.
Through a display ad.
Yes. And I'd be targeting the viewer, not the website.
Yes. I'm following you.
And I say websites, it's other things throughout the
internet.
internet.
Nissan on the ESPN page, that analogy. Yeah.
I don't play games on my phone. My wife does.
Right.
And every now and then between level 1 and level 2, you get the, loading, and the ad will show up, and every now and then she'll be like, "Oh, isn't that your client, Jacob?" Like, yeah. So
they are out there.
Right. And one of the great things I like about that kind of advertising is just the psychology of association. So if you're reading a news article, for example, you're reading that news article because you find them credible. Whoever is doing this article, you find them credible. So you've got those neurons firing in your brain.
Yeah.
And then you get down to your ad, and those credibility neurons are still firing when they see your ad. So that's kind of associated with that. Same thing with entertainment. Same thing with playing games. You have those happy neurons firing in your brain, and then you see the ad for, go eat at so-and-so. Say Village Inn, since we've already.
Sure. They're a sponsor.
Yeah, go eat at Village Inn. And then those happy neurons are still firing because they've, have those going from playing the game. So yeah, it's a fascinating thing.
Are these display ads video or still picture or something else?
Generally in between. I like to do GIF. Animated ads.
Yes.
I can do video. I do have some who do video.
Are most ads a certain length? You said 0.8 seconds to get their attention.
Yeah.
But I'm doing 10-second ads. This is video. Sometimes I did longer, but what is your take on length or?
Not really. I would say for the video ads, I try to keep them to 30 seconds or less. Like I said, I don't do many of those. I do like to have animation on our ad, even if it's no more than a blinking call to action button. I like to have some kind of animation. I think it catches their eye a little bit better. And then again, there's no one size fit all. I have some for my own business that I run that are completely static, and I think it's best that way.
Well, Jacob, you were saying when I talked to you about being on the show that you may not have enough interesting stuff. To me, I'm getting so hooked on this, I could go another hour and we're already out of time. So that just tells me that there's a lot to advertising and marketing, and your media and marketing. What's the difference for you before we get out of here? Archer's Bow, media and marketing. What's the difference between media and marketing for your company?
It sounded good.
It does sound good. It's like Archer's Bow, M&M, right there.
I mean, it kind of plays a factor into, I think you have the media aspect, and I do some writing from time to time, not as much as I used to, but I would like to hold open the opportunity, the chance of down the road, if I want to start a newspaper or buy a newspaper, that
You'd
I
be
can do
ready.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you here on board the Johnny Rooster Morning Mouth. Again, if you're looking this up on Facebook or YouTube, it's Johnny Rooster and Jacob Brower. We've got it, and we've given it to you. I hope that it was helpful. You guys, until next time, I'll be back Monday. Thanks again, Jacob. Take care.
Thank you.
We're out of here.